Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Will. Have you ever wondered about what it's like to go on a cruise with MSC? Well, if so, you are in for a treat with our special guest today. But before we introduce her and start chatting about MSC, please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. I want to give a shout out to Nick Menard and Associates for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, Nick Menard.
You're very welcome. Hello, winners.
Hello. So would you like the honors of introducing our special guest?
Absolutely. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Madison, who is here, our guest, live on the studio today. So exciting. So Madison is actually someone who started recently in the agency. So we are very happy and pleased to have her joining the team. And she had a fabulous start with like some great, like experience building for client, introducing cruising. But what I love about Madison as well is the fact that she's actually taking the leap for herself to go on vacation and experience herself what she's selling. So she talked to me about MSC in the beginning, and what she did is just she took her family to MSC to experience it herself, which is the best way actually to talk about anything, is to actually experience it yourself.
Yeah, but not family.
So that's my pleasure to introduce Madison. So thank you for joining us today.
Yay, thank you for having me and inviting me over.
Absolutely. So please, I know I did a quick introduction, but if you can introducing yourself a little bit so, our followers or winners knows who you are, and then we can go from there and talk about MSC Seascape.
Okay, so I'm a travel agent, just started 2 months ago. I'm a mom of 4, so I have kids that are 8, 6, 4, and 1.
Wow.
So
that's a full-time job there.
Exactly. That takes up the bulk of my time. So
awesome. Well, fantastic. So the first question I have is literally like, what's the first thing you would like to share with our audience about your experience on MSC? It was the Seascape, right?
Yep, it was.
Yeah. So what would you like to share first of all with the audience about the ship?
So overall, I had a really great time. It's very family friendly. So it was easy to do different activities with the kids and keep them busy and entertained, and still have the ability to go and do things with just my husband.
Awesome.
Really like that.
So when you say family friendly, you have example of things that your kids really liked or that you really liked about the family part. I know spending some quality time with your husband, it's hard when you have 4 children. I cannot imagine. I'm not ready for the first one. It's never going to be happening actually. But kudos to you. But anything in particular that the kids really liked or that you liked that the kids were able to do?
There was so much. I would start with the splash pad area. They had an entire water park area for the kids. It's 3 stories high. They have 4 different water slides that were really fun. They were really fast. There was one where I was even like screaming going down because it was so fast. I was like, I hope I slowed down. And then so they have the 3-story water park. It's everything that the kids need. And there's even like a climbing area at the top of it. And it's all to where you don't have to worry about them. Like they have like guides up the stairs to like help watch them go up there. So you're not having to like follow them everywhere. So I really enjoyed that. And the kids club was amazing. So this is our 3rd cruise with all 4 children. And this is the first time that all 4 of my kids actually wanted to go to the kids club and begged to go. And I was like,
wow.
Well, all right, we're doing it. Sounds good.
Did you book the next one already?
I've been looking. I'm looking to see what next one's going to be. Yeah.
That's awesome. So the kids club, I'm interested because we have a lot of, listeners who are, who have also large families. So, kids club, it's always a hit and miss, like people. So I assume that depending on their age category, you have different like kids, category, I assume. But if not, tell me. But what activities are they doing during the day? Because some of them I know in some other cruise line, I'm not going to name, they're just, like in the first floor in a big room and they just play with Lego all day. But can you tell us a little bit more? What was the experience with your children on the kids club?
Yes. So with the different ages of my kids, I had the baby club. So for my 1-year-old, the baby club. So you have like set a couple hours that they can go in. It's not as much, but it was enough because I don't want, the baby to go too much. They were very hands-on. They had a ton of toys there and like little climbing stuff for them. And for my kids ages 3 to 6 in that room, they are the only cruise company that actually has a partnership with Lego. So when you're talking about Legos, the other cruise ships do not have Legos, but this one did. And my kids really like Legos, so that was cool.
Oh, nice.
So they do that, and then so they have the Legos, they have the activities there, but this is the only cruise line that I know of that also takes the kids on different field trips throughout the cruise ship as well. So they take them to the theater, and they are, playing games with them there. They're taking them up by the pool area, and they don't take them in the pool, but they're doing like a disco night and doing dancing and all kinds of stuff. They'll even take them to dinner for you if you want them to do that. And it's a whole kids line, kid approved like food. So they're actually eating and not just like looking at a bunch of stuff they don't like.
Yeah.
So that was what was really cool to me, is that they actually did like scientific studies, and they have this like broadcasted out that you have to change what you're doing every 30 minutes for the kids to like keep their attention so they don't get bored. And that's what they do. They change it every 30 minutes to something else for them. So my kids loved it. We went on other cruise lines in the past. I won't say their names either, but they didn't like any of them. And this is the first time they loved it. So it was a nice change.
That's a really good perks. I mean, if you have like a family, large or not, if you just want to, because the problem usually with families when you go on a ship with young children is that you have an eye on them all the time, and you tend to always, like wanted to keep an eye on. But it seems like MSC here have an ability to actually cover all of that for you and allow you and your significant other to actually spend time together, which is a good little break during the day. We love the children, but it's probably very good to also be able to feel very good with the children having fun, but also be able to have some quality time also with your spouse. So that's great. That's great.
I was thinking, how would Nick change his birth certificate so he could do the disco? That's because he's known for disco dancing.
There you go.
Hey, I cannot share all my secrets on this episode, but yeah, if you want to know more, don't ask.
John Travolta has everything on him. I mean, nothing on him.
Oh my God. When we have friends like that, we don't need enemies. That's really, really...
Here for you.
So, what else? What else is on the ship? Now, we talked about children. What is there for adults that you found very, very good or maybe not challenging? The goal here is not to just picture like like something that everything is great because that doesn't exist. But if you can share, your experience as an adult on the ship.
Okay, so we'll talk about the good stuff first. Of course, there's always room for improvement.
Absolutely.
So we booked an Aurea class room. And so with that, you get unlimited access to the thermal spa and priority embarkment and disembarkment, which is also very important for families because my kids are not standing in these lines without whining. So we were on and off the ship within 30 minutes with that class. And what I want to talk about is the thermal spa. So we really enjoyed that. We could walk in at any time, and they have, the traditional saunas, the hot tub, that kind of stuff. But we really enjoyed the steam room. And then there's this thing where it's like 4 different showers. I don't know what it's called, but
rainforest.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So like you don't know what you're gonna get. So it's like freezing cold, and then it's like a little sprinkle, and then it's like downpour on you, and so you just like go to the different ones. So we would get like super hot and sweaty in the steam room, and then we'd go to like the cold showers. It was really fun. Do like the fire and ice thing. They also have what's called a snow room. So you go in, it's like all icy and cold, and we love doing that. Every chance we got, we would try to do that every day, and that was a really good perk for the adults. And they have a lot of other things for adults that we didn't really get to do because we had the kids. But, there's a ton of trivia, the normal trivia, bingo, that kind of stuff. And I will say also the theater shows were really good. Like I was impressed by the talent that they had.
Tell us more. Is it more like music or comedy or, So
they had a show each night, and it featured singing, dancing, and like acrobatic type stuff. So it was really cool to see like just the talent with that. Like, just how do they do that stuff? Like they're hanging from stuff. Like at one point, like there was a guy hanging from a ring, and then he had like a mouthpiece, and the chick was hanging from the mouthpiece, and they were up in the air.
Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
Sounds like an after party after a concert.
It was really cool to see. I was just like blown away. And so, I wasn't sure if it was going to stay good, but each night, like I was like blown away each time. And so they have 2 showings, 7:30, 9:30. If you wanted the later one, you have to book it in advance because the seats do sell out. So that's an important tip to know.
Oh, wow. You need to book in advance. Interesting. Awesome. Well, that sounds fun. And that sounds like you have a lot of different variety of show that you have on the ship as well. When it comes to bars, because we have also a lot of listeners who love to have a drink from time to time. So do you have like a certain amount of bars that you can go to, or is just one main one?
There was definitely a lot of bars. I don't know how many because I think I got to have one drink the whole cruise. But I know there was a lot of bars. Didn't really go to them, but I know what I like about the ship, which this is like, it varies person to person if you like this or not. For example, my husband likes when the ships are like big and grand and open, and MSC doesn't have that. It's more of like smaller sectioned out areas. Okay. But I like that better because it feels more intimate and it doesn't feel like you're sharing the ship with 5,000 other people. I never felt like that one time. And so there's probably a lot of bars that I never even saw because I didn't go to those areas.
That's good. That's fine. That's fine. It's about your experience,
Yeah.
So I'm really curious about the food.
Go ahead. Ask the question about the food.
You ready for the food? Okay.
Yeah. How's the food?
Okay. So buffet, main dining room. I'm going to just say it was a normal cruise experience that you would expect, across with, Royal Caribbean, like that, the contemporary brand type ship. Same kind of food. We did do 3 specialty restaurants. They were all really good. They had like a Mexican one that was delicious, teppanyaki, so like the hibachi.
I like that.
And that was really good. That was like, they automatically bring you sushi, then the miso soup, the salad, the entree, the dessert. So it was like a multi-course meal, and that was really delicious. They have butcher cut, I think it's called. And that's like a steakhouse, like an upscale steakhouse. That was delicious. So the specialty dining, it's definitely worth spending that extra money to experience because it is a lot better food. But I mean, the other food was fine.
Yeah, it's
kind of what you expect with the cruises, and their pizza's good. So like, if you don't mind snacking on a lot of pizza, that can be your go-to all the time too.
All right.
There is one thing I will say with the food: need more snacks. So having kids. Other cruise lines would have, where you can just like walk up and grab a quick burger or grab a quick taco. They didn't have that on MSC. So I wish they had more snack options or like a quick grab and go meal, because you always had to go to either the buffet or the main dining room was only open for certain hours. So
interesting.
That's an area of improvement for them.
Yeah, that's definitely the case because I'm the same way as well. When I'm on all-inclusive or on a cruise, I like to be able to grab something, like you say, grab and go when I feel like it and not have to wait a certain time to do it. So it's interesting to know that on your experience on MSC, you didn't have really that. So that's good. So something to know as well, like we are middle of the episode right now. And we will have in a couple of months, someone coming to talk about the World America of MSC, which is a brand new ship who's coming in a couple of months in the US. And we will have another of our associates, Susan and Bill, who will be coming and explain the experience there. So we will have, the goal is to have like, you explain your experience on MSC, the Seascape, and we will have an experience with World America soon, so we can see a little bit the difference. Because the good thing to know is, even if you like a certain brand or don't like a certain brand, you may be surprised. The ship makes a lot of difference as well. So that's why we need to stop by saying like, I like or dislike this brand, and I'm responsible to that as well. But also look at different ships. That may be a huge difference in the experience you will have. So I'm really looking forward. I'm very happy to talk about this one, but I'm looking forward to the World America, which supposedly is the first one who is literally made for United States market. So I'm really looking forward to that. Even though you mentioned that it's going to be a little bit less family oriented than the one that the Seascape that you went now. But I wanted to throw that in there in the middle of the episode. All right, about excursions. So if you can share where you went and what kind of excursions, like options were that you maybe didn't see somewhere else, or it's very basic like the other cruise line that you tried before?
Okay, so we went to their private island, Ocean Cay. We went to Nassau. We went to Puerto Rico, San Juan, and Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic. So Ocean Cay, their private island. We went to a couple of their beaches. It's a very relaxed island. Like other ones have like water parks and stuff like that. They didn't, but I liked that they didn't because otherwise I would go there, and I liked being able to actually have a beach day, like a chill beach day. I wouldn't have done that otherwise. And we got to see fish, and we got to see even a stingray go by. And so I will say, if you have a family and you go to Ocean Cay, just go to the first beach right there. Don't go walking. The water's the prettiest there. It's the easiest walk. They have food trucks. They have food right there. They have everything you need right there. You don't have to go out because it's just more work. The beaches are further to get to. And the water's not as pretty. It's really pretty right there.
Good to know. That's a great tip. So thank you for that. And it's good to know that it's, sometimes less is more. And I believe so. I like some of the islands of other brands, but it's very different atmosphere and it seems like less natural. So here, if you are, like you said, like you want to have a beach day, you can go there and have that. You mentioned food truck and things like that. When you have like a package who is valid on the ship, for example, you have a drink package, can you use the drink package on the island or the private island as well, or it's an extra?
It's included.
It's included. All right, good. So that's good to know. Some are not. So that's also good to know on that level. Activity-wise, I know you have children and you were busy with that as well. Did you realize that there are some specific activities during the day? I know you mentioned that there's some trivia things, but is there anything specific or maybe a skate ring or something like ice skating or something different that you experienced there that you didn't experience before?
They do not have any ice rinks or ice skating type stuff there. It was pretty much, it's more of a chill ship. Okay. So it's not like the other cruise lines that are like, go, 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 one thing after another. It's really like a chill, like different pools that have a different vibe than the water park and the kids club and just like kind of just walking around. Other than that, like there's not a lot of like big action things on the ship, but I liked that change of pace, to be honest.
I like that. So what kind of package? I mean, it's just for people to understand with MSC, maybe people who have no experience like that. What kind of drink package are available? Is it like the classic and the alcohol one, or you had some, if you don't take anything, you still get the drink in the room, like the water and things like that, or it's just very limited?
Okay, so in your room, you have a mini fridge that's stocked. Anything that you take out of there, you get charged for. They have, with the Aria room, you automatically get like Prosecco and chocolate in your room when you go on there. Beverage packages, they have, whoever's in your room, you have to buy the package. So, for instance, we had 2 different rooms because we're a large family. So one room had my husband, my 8-year-old, and the baby. So both my husband and my 8-year-old had to have a drink package. And then we just didn't do it. Other one because I don't drink anyway, so didn't need it. So that's one thing to note, that anyone in your room does have to have a package, but the packages are cheaper than other cruise lines.
Okay.
So for the 7-night, like it was like less than $400 for both of their drink packages.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot cheaper.
And he could have 15 alcoholic drinks a day, plus your coffee and your soda, your bottled water, which is really what we use it for, is the bottled water. Smoothies, all that kind of stuff is included with that beverage package. So that was kind of nice.
Good. So you mentioned something that I heard from associates, but also from clients, the 15 drinks a day. This is not something that it's linked to a cruise line. This is a law. So if you look at the little write-up under every single cruise line's drink package for alcohol, you will see that there's a limit of 15 drinks per day. All right. So again, not every cruise line scan every drink you take. They can continue to scan. It's not that you have a limit of 15. It's just by law. If you drink more than 15 alcohol package, you're not supposed to be functioning normally. And that's literally for that reason that they do that. I know tons of people who drink 30 beer during the day on the cruise. If you are not acting like a complete psycho, they usually let you go, but they need
30 beers, they probably passed out.
Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, you would be surprised. Some of them, troopers. But yeah, so that's a rule. So that's not like it's something to take it like black and white. Like I have 15 drinks. I think it depends a lot of the way that you are consuming and the way you're acting as well. But they need to have that in writing by law. So that's the reason why. So if you think now, oh my God, I don't go on MSC because I see there's a limit of 15. That's going to be the case for every single cruise line. So that's good to know for people who don't know that. That's one of the reason that they put those limit to 15 drinks. But I never really looked at that when I go, and I think I'm getting pretty close to that, or maybe a bit more when I go on this. So yeah, it depends. But yeah, so that's great. Thank you for all the information about the process to board in. So we know that every cruise line are different, and some are very easy to board in. You know, like the time is the time. You get a time assigned, or you assign your own time if you book in advance, and then you go, and it takes like 20, 30 minutes to get on the ship. How is the process with MSC, and where did you sail from?
We sailed from Miami.
Is already the new deck? Yes. Okay. Can you explain the terminal?
It was so nice. Okay, it's huge.
Yeah.
And so you walk in, so you drop your luggage off on the outside, walk in, and then it's very organized. It's beautiful. They have like a whole screen with like giant whales and stuff going across. So my kids like loved just watching that the whole time. So that made it easier. We had the Aria room, so we did have like kind of like the same as like a diamond member would have. So you just have priority, you just pretty much walk right on. But it was super simple. Like I said, from parking the car to walking on the ship, it was maybe 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So it was super fast. Like we did not have to wait for anything.
I cannot see that new terminals. For those who don't know, like MSC just built their first own terminal in Miami, and it's the biggest one. And of course, every new one are probably the most sophisticated. The one I like the best in Miami was Virgin. Is Virgin, that's the first one when you get into the ports. But MSC, I heard that's when they come up with the new one. It's very recent. They will have the biggest and the most sophisticated and modern terminal. So I cannot wait to experience it. But good to hear that it was a great experience as well. Anything that we didn't ask you? That's your question. Anything that we didn't ask you that you wanted to share with the audience about maybe an experience or something that you wish was different or anything like that?
So do you want to talk about two of the ports that I went to?
Okay.
So we went to Puerto Rico, and I will say that I felt super safe there. With all 4 kids, we could walk around the whole island. They have really cool forts, even a playground there that you can walk to from the ship. So we never needed to take a taxi or anything. I think that's important for families to know because it's nerve-wracking getting off with a bunch of kids and keeping track of them all. So San Juan would 100% go there again. It was a really nice port. And then Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, you walk off the port and they have a free lazy river resort style pool. They have an area where you can pay to go see monkeys. You can pay to go feed the birds. All that's right there in your port. And they have, shops and stuff too. So those ports were excellent. We were really spoiled by all of the ports. So I wanted to put that on there. Ship wise, is there anything I want to add? So
the room, maybe.
The rooms, I felt like, so with some of the other cruise lines, we usually get like a spacious room. It's like what it's titled. So I felt like they were a little bit smaller.
Okay.
A little bit tight, but it was manageable. We had 2 balconies together that connected.
Oh.
And then, so with an Aria room, the balconies were a little bit larger. So that was nice. And during port days, they would open it to where we could go between the 2 balconies. So that was nice. But I would say they're probably a little bit smaller than what we were used to, but it was functional. I would say overall the ship is really clean, but having a child that is crawling still and not walking, the carpets kind of made me a little ick. They need to clean their carpets. That was really the only time that I was kind of like, about the ship was just that aspect. And it's only because I have a crawling child that I would even notice that.
After Nick has his 30 beers, he's usually
if you're crawling.
Beer, so.
I do not drink beer. Just for your knowledge, I go liquor.
Yeah.
And I would say another thing I like is that the way that they set up some of like the pools and some of like the kid areas is I like that there is a lot of shaded areas. So normally on cruise lines, you're up at the top deck for all of that stuff, which is great, but it's all sun. You're always getting a sunburn. You know, it's so hot. And they didn't have that. It was all like dipped down. And it was nice because there was times where you were shaded, so we didn't have to worry about like getting overheated and wearing everybody out with the sun. So that was another little perk that I liked.
Yeah. I mean, that's all good perks. I mean, I have to say that I personally, I travel and sail a lot, and I never sail. I mean, I did, but I was so young and it was in Europe. So it was very 20 plus years ago, 25 years ago. So I'm looking forward to try again MSC soon. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your experience with us and you know, letting our audience know what to expect when they go on MSC in general and definitely on that one. So thank you for bringing that up to us. I really appreciate it.
That was very insightful.
Thank you for having me.
And my previous experience with MSC was just my oldest son went on with some friends. And what he told me they did, I'm like, that does not sound like a ship I need to be on that one. But you've restored my faith in MSC. So
glad I
thank you very
that.
much, Madison. Appreciate it. Now I'm willing to give it a try versus being exposed to teenagers drinking at 4 a.m. But that'll wrap up today. Want to give a big shout out to Madison. Thank you for sharing all those insights. Our winners, hopefully you found it as insightful as I did and actually changed my perception of MSC in the positive. So thank you for that. Please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow 2 for the Win on your favorite platform. And don't forget to check us out next week, and we'll have another exciting topic to go about. And lastly, but certainly not least, thanks to 30 Beers, Nick Menard and Associates for sponsoring today's episode. It was a sincere pleasure. Thank you, Nick Menard.
You're welcome.
All right, winners, I'll do it for now. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.